In uncertain times, certainty can be found in the data. Right now, what we got is more uncertainty. Uncertainty creates fear, which creates inaction. That inaction, when applied to the housing market, creates a hold on your financial stability and security. My name is Nicole Rueth, and I geek out on all things economics as it pertains to the housing industry. And if you do too, and you want to stay in the loop, then make sure to subscribe to our channel. So this week, I want to talk about Fed Chair Powell and the Fed meeting and what just happened that moved the markets so dramatically. In fact, our 10-year Treasury just hit a 16-year high. That is so not good news. And the 30-year fixed mortgage rate is headed up because of it. So what just happened? Like, he didn't really actually say that much. And if you listen to Fed Chair Powell, you'll see he just fell back on the same rhetoric. He fell back on the same thing, that we're going to be data dependent, that he is literally ride or die for the 2% inflation. And he focused in on that this is our charge and we cannot give up because the mission is not complete. And remember, he doesn't care who gets elected next year. He's got 3 more years, and he wasn't Biden's choice anyway. So in all of this, he's hyper-focused on making any move he needs to make in order to get to 2%. What did move the market? If it wasn't the terminology around data dependent, what moved the market was the dot plot map. The dot plot takes every Fed member and they get a vote for where they think the rate should be, the Fed rate, and they put it up on a map for the rest of this year, and then 2024, 2025, 2026, and then long term. They say what they think the Fed rate should be, they put it up, and they pull it all together, and we get this Fed dot plot. This Fed dot plot moved in such small idiosyncrasies that it actually moved the markets massively. So they said that they are thinking, based on all the votes, that we are going to have one more raise in the Fed rate. Well, that's not new news. I mean, that's actually what the market was expecting. So that wasn't it. Then they went on to show where they think the Fed rate is going to go and that it's going to go down over the next 3 years. Well, that's not new news. So that didn't move the market. So what did? Well, the median of all of their votes moved upward. What that signified was the fact that they are willing to raise the Fed rate mid going down. If they create a path where they're lowering the Fed rate, they're willing to stop and reverse based on being data dependent. So that median actually rising was a pretty big signal that they need to see the economic data that supports that they're making the right moves and inflation is going to go back to 2%. What does that do to the markets? It creates uncertainty that when you start lowering the Fed rate, it doesn't mean you're going to keep lowering the Fed rate. You could go right back and raise it again. Uncertainty is not comfortable. I can't make decisions when I have too much uncertainty. And in fact, that uncertainty was elevated. So this green bar actually shows the width by which the Fed members believe that the Fed rate could be in future years. Now that spread is dynamically huge. It's 1.5 to 5.75. That's a big spread. Some thinking it could be super low, some still thinking it should be much higher. In fact, Powell came out during his talk and he said, forecasts are highly uncertain, forecasting is very difficult, and forecasters are a humble lot with much to be humble about. Well, let me translate that to English for you. That literally means we actually don't know. We're taking our best guess and don't shoot the messenger. I want a Fed chair who's really certain. And we're not getting that right now because there's a lot of uncertainty in the market that's still creating this unknown. Because ultimately, Fed Chair Powell wants more unemployment. He wants the labor market to open up. He wants to see a resilient economy give up. He wants consumers to spend less, and he wants inflation to drop down, that sticky inflation that is being so thick about moving lower. He wants that. But instead, what he's getting is oil prices are rising because Saudi Arabia and Russia are cutting oil production, something so far out of his control. That's happening, which is keeping inflation higher. Not core, but headline. We also have strikes. We have multiple industry strikes, but the UAW strike is massive, and its ripple effect could be large. Again, it might even move the markets towards more unemployment. It might slow down the economy, move us into a recession, and do all the right things. It's the lack of certainty that is creating this stress right now. And then we just had almost a nail on the coffin for this week's news anyway. We had the initial jobless claims come out, falling to the lowest point since January. And you're like, yeah, no, initial unemployment claims should go up because that's what we need. We need more people to be laid off so they spend less, so consumer spending goes down, so inflation goes down, so our mortgage interest rates go down. That didn't happen. Initial jobless claims went down, less people went on unemployment, and more people are holding on to their jobs because of uncertainty. So for right now, I want to leave you with this, because while things on the economic front can be uncertain, which is leading to this sense of fear, I will tell you that long-term real estate values always go up. And when we see interest rates finally come down, those 64% of buyers who are sitting on the sidelines are going to come in, and they're going to be trying to gobble up the limited supply, creating a position where home prices are going to go up. And so I will tell you that if you buy now, there's less competition, you have more time to make a decision, and you'll probably be able to negotiate a great deal. And here's the deal. If interest rates go down, you can refinance. And if interest rates keep going up, you'll be really glad you bought when I said the time was right.